Imagine a relationship in your life that just clicks. You the kind, maybe it's with a partner or a really close friend, even family, where connection just feels easy, effortless. And, disagreements happen, but they don't blow everything up. You feel seen, understood, really valued.
Yeah.
It's powerful, right? Almost like magic.
It definitely feels that way sometimes, but here's the thing, it's really not magic. Not at all.
Right. And it's not just for like the honeymoon phase or those couples who seem perfect online.
Exactly. What we found and what the research really points to is that it comes down to small choices, consistent ones, tiny actions, day in, day out.
And these little things, they build up.
They really do. They build into something incredibly resilient, deeply satisfying. It's less about the grand gestures, the once a year kind of thing.
Yeah, the big fireworks displays.
Right. And much more about that quiet, steady accumulation, these little micro moments that reinforce, hey, we're connected, I trust you, I get you.
Okay, so this deep dive is definitely for you listening. If you've ever wondered, like, what is the secret sauce? What separates the really happy connections? Or if you just want some practical ways, backed by actual research, to make your important bonds stronger, starting like right now.
Our mission today is exactly that. We want to unpack the habits that really make the biggest difference in fostering those strong, deep connections.
And we've pulled together insights from relationship experts, psychologists.
Yeah, and lots of real-world experience, too. Just, people figuring out their own relationships every day. We'll look at strategies for everything, how you talk, how you listen.
Little kindnesses.
Absolutely. And even how you take care of yourself, which is honestly fundamental to connecting well with anyone else.
So think of this as like your practical guide. A shortcut, maybe, to building that solid foundation, one habit at a time.
So your relationships aren't just, getting by.
Yeah, not just surviving the daily grind.
But actually thriving, really flourishing.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about this undercurrent of connection. Why do these tiny habits, these micro moments, why did they make such a massive difference?
It's a great place to start because it challenges a common assumption.
Which is?
Well, like you said, we often think about the big stuff, anniversaries, holidays, grand romantic gestures, the movie moments.
Right. Flowers, big trips, dramatic declarations.
Exactly. But here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit counterintuitive. The research strongly suggests it's much less about those big flashy events and much, much more about the consistent, sometimes almost invisible, small acts. Little moments of care, attention, love. These are what really build that strong, unwavering foundation over the long haul.
We're calling them micro habits.
Precisely. It's a crucial distinction.
What?
Look, grand gestures are great. They're memorable. They create peaks.
Sure. Who doesn't love a grand gesture sometimes?
Of course, but they don't sustain the day-to-day fabric of the relationship. Think of it like a house. A grand gesture might be painting the outside a stunning color. Looks amazing, right? But it won't keep the wall standing if the foundation's crumbling. What does sustain it are those small, everyday things. The micro habits, like checking for leaks, fixing a squeaky hinge, just keeping things tidy.
Okay, the maintenance.
Exactly. Consistent maintenance. When these small, seemingly insignificant actions are done repeatedly, with intention, they lead to huge shifts in how connected people feel, how appreciated, how secure.
And the best part seems to be that it doesn't require like a total life makeover.
Not at all. That's key. It's not about becoming some relationship guru overnight. It's about weaving intentionality into your existing routines, making small choices that, just because you do them consistently, add up to something really extraordinary.
It sounds almost deceptively simple. Like, really, that's it. But the impact you're describing is huge.
It really is profound.
And this isn't just, feel-good advice or someone's opinion. There's actual science behind this idea of micro habits.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just fluff. The concept is deeply rooted in behavior science. Think about the work of people like B.J. Fogg at Stanford.
Right.
His behavior design lab has done incredible work on this.
Okay.
His research gives us this really powerful framework. It basically shows that when habits are small, really easy to do, they bypass the need for constant motivation or willpower.
Willpower. That tricky thing.
Exactly. It's a finite resource, right? It runs out. So if you make a habit tiny, almost effortless, you don't need a huge surge of motivation to do it.
So it becomes more automatic.
Precisely. Automatic, instinctive, and crucially, sustainable. Think about it. If a habit feels huge and difficult, what happens when life gets crazy?
You drop it. First thing to go.
Right. But if it's tiny, requires almost no mental effort, you're way more likely to stick with it. It just becomes part of your routine, deeply ingrained.
So how do we actually make these tiny actions stick? How do we get them integrated so they are effortless? Is there a formula?
There is a pretty useful framework. Fogg's model, sometimes called the 3 Rs, is super practical. It stands for reminder, routine, and reward.
Reminder, routine, reward.
Yeah. The reminder is the trigger. What prompts the action? It could be something you already do, like brushing your teeth, or a specific time, or even just seeing something. Maybe every time you pour your morning coffee, that's your reminder to text your partner something appreciative.
Okay, so the coffee is the reminder.
Right. The routine is the tiny action itself, sending that quick text. And the reward is the positive feeling you get from it.
The payoff.
Exactly. Maybe it makes you smile. Maybe they text back something nice. Maybe you just feel that little warmth of connection. That feeling is the reward. It reinforces the habit.
So the more you link the reminder, the routine, and the reward,
the more natural it becomes. You're basically wiring your brain to make it automatic. It becomes this positive cycle. The action leads to a good feeling, which makes you want to do the action again, like planting a tiny seed and watering it consistently. Eventually, it grows into something strong.
That makes so much sense. It's like designing your life so the good stuff, the connection stuff,
Yeah.
is almost impossible not to do.
You got it. Setting yourself up for success.
And we've been talking a lot about romantic partners, which is obviously huge for many people. But these habits, this whole idea, it applies much more broadly, doesn't it? Strong connections aren't just about romance.
Oh, absolutely. That's a critical point. We often default to thinking about couples, but strong bonds with friends, family, even colleagues, they contribute enormously to our overall well-being.
Especially now, right? Things feel so disconnected sometimes, even with all the tech.
Paradoxically, yes, we're more connected digitally, but often feel more isolated. So these diverse real-world relationships aren't just nice-to-haves. They're crucial buffers against loneliness, against isolation, which we know has real health impacts. They form this rich tapestry of support.
So, okay, beyond just not feeling lonely, what are the tangible benefits? How do strong connections with friends, family, coworkers actually help us day to day?
Well, take stress, for example. When things get tough, who do you turn to?
Friends, family.
Exactly. They provide comfort, a support system. A friend might just listen without judgment, letting you vent. A family member might offer practical help, like watching the kids or running an errand.
Yeah, takes the pressure off.
Right. Even a supportive colleague can make a tough project feel less daunting just by offering some understanding. And think about perspectives when you're stuck on a problem.
Bouncing ideas off someone helps.
Totally. A trusted friend or family member might see things you completely missed. They offer different angles, maybe a reality check.
Yeah.
And another thing, strong relationships often subtly push us to take better care of ourselves. When you know people care, when you feel that support, you're often more motivated to, eat well, exercise, manage stress, because you matter to them.
So the deeper the connection, the bigger the benefits.
Exactly. The deeper and more varied your connections, the more these benefits cascade through your life. You get this profound sense of belonging, purpose, meaning.
That really paints a full picture. Okay, let's shift gears slightly and really dig into what is arguably the cornerstone, the absolute bedrock of all strong relationships. Communication. Mastering the art of communication.
Couldn't agree more. It's fundamental.
And the first habit here, the one that everything else kind of rests on, is active listening. And we mean active, not just, waiting for your turn to talk.
Yeah, that's a common trap.
It's about giving your full, undivided attention. Really trying to understand the whole message, the words, the feelings behind them, the stuff that isn't being said.
It's fascinating how often we think we're listening, but our brain is actually miles away, right? Planning our response, judging, getting distracted by our own thoughts.
Totally. My grocery list pops into my head.
Exactly. Active listening requires a deliberate, conscious effort to focus. And the research here is overwhelming. It consistently links active listening to way higher relationship satisfaction, better conflict resolution.
Less fighting or better fighting.
Better fighting, definitely. More constructive outcomes. And increased emotional intimacy. Experts like Dr. John Gottman, whose work is just phenomenal, they constantly point to deep listening as a key predictor of relationship stability.
Why? What makes it so powerful?
Because it makes the other person feel truly valued, respected, genuinely heard, and that feeling is absolutely essential for building and maintaining trust. Without trust, what do you have?
Not much. Okay, so practically speaking, what does active listening actually look like day to day? How do we do it?
Okay, let's get practical. First, and maybe most obviously,
Mhm.
eliminate distractions. Put the phone away, turn off the TV, step away from the computer, create a space where you can actually focus.
Physically and mentally.
Both. Then, nonverbal cues are huge. Maintain eye contact, warm eye contact, not staring them down. Nod. Use those little encouragers like, I see, shows you're tracking.
Okay.
And here's a big one. When they pause, try paraphrasing. Repeat back what you heard, but in your own words. Like if they say, ugh, work was insane today, you might say, wow, sounds like you were totally overwhelmed with everything going on.
So you check your understanding.
Exactly. It confirms you got it right or gives them a chance to clarify. Plus, it makes them feel incredibly validated. And maybe the hardest part, resist the urge to interrupt.
Oh, that's tough.
It is, especially if you have a solution, but resist offering immediate advice or jumping in with your own story. Just focus on understanding their perspective first. Solutions come later.
That sounds like it requires a lot of self-control, especially if it's a heated topic or you feel defensive. What gets in the way? What are the common roadblocks?
Great question. Beyond the obvious external distractions noise, tech guard. The internal ones are often trickier. Defensiveness is a huge one.
Feeling attacked.
Yeah. If you perceive criticism, your walls go up. You stop listening and start preparing your rebuttal. Another is projection, assuming they feel or think exactly like you would. That leads to all sorts of misunderstandings based on unspoken expectations.
So what do you do?
The key, even when it's tough, is to try and stay calm. Avoid blame. If you feel that defensiveness rising, the tight chest, the hot face, notice it, acknowledge it internally, and then consciously try to refocus on understanding their world, not just reacting from yours.
Maybe even say something.
Absolutely. Sometimes taking a brief pause helps. You could say, hang on, I feel myself reacting defensively. Can I just take a breath? I really want to understand you. It's vulnerable, but effective.
Okay. For listeners wanting to practice this, like starting today, are there exercises, things they can try at home, maybe make it fun?
Definitely. Think of it like building a muscle. You need reps. One great one is the mirroring exercise. Partner A talks for, say, a minute. Partner B then repeats it back exactly, word for word.
Sounds simple, but probably really hard.
Incredibly hard. It forces you to pay absolute attention and shows you how much you usually miss. Another is the no interruption rule. Set a timer, maybe 5 minutes. One person talks, the other only listens. No interruptions, period.
Creates a safe space.
Totally. Then there's the paraphrasing game. After your partner speaks, you must paraphrase what they said to their satisfaction before you can share your own thoughts. Really locks in understanding.
Okay, I like that.
And one more, emotion labeling. During conversations, consciously try to identify and name the emotions you're hearing. It sounds like you're feeling really frustrated, or I hear a lot of disappointment in your voice.
Oh.
It shows deep empathy. Consistently doing these exercises builds that active listening muscle over time.
That's fantastic. Really practical stuff. Okay, so we've covered listening. Let's flip it. How we express ourselves.
Right.
Habit number 2, using I statements. This sounds like therapy speak, but it's powerful, right?
Well, it's incredibly powerful. It's a subtle language shift, but it can completely change the dynamic of a conversation, especially a difficult one.
So instead of you always or you never.
Exactly. Those you statements immediately sound like accusations, like blame. You make me feel you're so... What happens when someone feels blamed?
They get defensive, shut down, argue back.
Precisely. Communication therapists, couples counselors, they all champion I statements for this very reason. They prevent that immediate defensive wall from going up.
And the research backs this up too.
Consistently. Studies show couples using I statements have higher satisfaction. They resolve conflicts more amicably. Because instead of triggering hostility, I statements invite empathy. Because you're talking about your experience. I feel X when Y happens because Z. You're owning your feelings, your perspective. It allows your partner to understand your inner world rather than just defending their own actions. It's an invitation to connect, not a declaration of war.
Can you give us a concrete example? Because I imagine when you're upset, defaulting to you did this is easier than carefully crafting an I statement.
Absolutely. It takes practice. It can feel unnatural at first, especially when emotions are high, but compare these instead of, you never listen to me, which just prompts a list of counterexamples.
Right. Yes, I do. Remember last Tuesday?
Exactly. Try. I feel unheard and a bit frustrated when I'm interrupted because it makes me feel like my thoughts aren't important right now. See the difference?
Yeah, it's all about your feeling, your interpretation.
Right. Or instead of, you're always late, you're so inconsiderate,
Right.
which is a character attack try. I feel worried and anxious when you're late and I haven't heard from you because I start imagining something bad happened.
Focuses on your feeling worry and the specific situation.
Exactly. As experts like Dr. Sue Johnson emphasize, sharing your vulnerability, your underlying feelings and needs using I statements is the most powerful way to pull your partner closer, to invite understanding. It might feel awkward initially, absolutely acknowledge that, but sticking with it dramatically improves the tone and outcome of difficult conversations.
Owning your stuff instead of projecting it, that really does shift things. And this idea of owning your emotional experience leads perfectly into the third habit, cultivating emotional intelligence, EI.
Yes, EI. It's become a bit of a buzzword, but the concept is solid gold for relationships.
So what is it exactly, beyond the buzzword?
At its core, it's the ability to do two things really well. First, recognize and manage your own emotions effectively. And second, understand and influence the emotions of others in a thoughtful way.
Like having emotional radar.
Kind of, yeah. And the ability to act skillfully based on what that radar picks up. In relationships, higher EI is like a superpower. It lets you communicate with more empathy, handle stress calmly.
Less reactivity.
Much less. Partners with strong EI can articulate their own feelings clearly, without blame, and respond to their partner's feelings with empathy. This stops small issues snowballing into huge fights because there's this base level of emotional understanding and respect.
And research supports this connection too.
Strongly. There's a clear link between EI and relationship satisfaction. People with higher EI tend to use more constructive strategies during conflict, like compromise, calm discussion, seeking mutual solutions rather than just trying to win. It creates a psychologically safe space where feelings can be shared and understood.
Okay, so for listeners thinking, right, I want more EI, where do they start? Can you actually improve it?
Absolutely. That's the great news. EI isn't fixed. You can definitely develop it. A key starting point is increasing self-awareness.
Tuning into yourself.
Exactly. Taking moments to just notice, what am I feeling right now? What triggered this feeling? For instance, noticing, wow, I'm really tense after that meeting, before you interact with your partner.
So you don't accidentally snap at them.
Right. You could even say, hey, just letting you know I'm feeling a bit stressed from work, so I might need a little quiet time. Proactive communication based on self-awareness. Second, actively practice empathy.
Putting yourself in their shoes.
Consciously, especially in disagreements, ask, what might they be feeling right now? What might their underlying need be? It shifts your whole perspective. And third, learn to manage your emotional reactions.
Don't just react.
Try not to. When anger or frustration flares up, instead of lashing out, pause. Take a few deep breaths. That tiny pause creates space between the trigger and your response, allowing you to choose a more thoughtful reaction. Responding with understanding rather than just reacting to the words builds that safe emotional space we talked about. It deepens the bond.
Okay, communication is huge. Listening, expressing, understanding emotions. Now let's shift to nurturing connection through, well, the everyday stuff. Daily acts, shared worlds. Habit 4, daily affection and appreciation. Filling up that love bank, as you called it.
Yes, the love bank. It's such a great metaphor. This is absolutely fundamental for keeping intimacy and vibrancy alive. And when we talk about physical affection, it's crucial to think beyond just sex.
Right, it's broader than that.
Much broader. It's holding hands, it's warm hugs, real hugs, not just polite pats, those quick kisses goodbye in the morning, hello when you get home, a gentle touch on the arm, an arm around the shoulder while watching TV.
The little things.
The little consistent things, and the data is clear. Physically affectionate relationships are happier, more satisfied, especially non-sexual affection. It's vital for emotional connection. It releases oxytocin.
The love hormone.
Exactly. The cuddle hormone. It literally fosters trust, bonding, attachment. It wires our brain to feel safe and connected to that person. Even those tiny, almost automatic touches, they reinforce that physical bond subconsciously.
And beyond touch, there's the power of appreciation, expressing gratitude, which can easily fall by the wayside in the daily hustle, can't it?
Oh, so easily. It's remarkable how quickly we can start taking people for granted in long-term relationships, partners, friends, family, the things they do consistently, their positive qualities, their efforts. They just become background noise.
Expected, maybe.
Yeah, expected. So consciously showing appreciation actively fights against that erosion. And the research in positive psychology is really strong here. Regularly expressing genuine gratitude, it doesn't just make the other person feel good. It leads to stronger relationships and higher happiness for both people.
That's interesting. It benefits the giver, too.
Absolutely. When you feel seen, valued, appreciated for who you are and what you do, you feel more committed, more resilient, even more comfortable bringing up difficult issues because you know you're fundamentally valued. It creates this amazing positive feedback loop.
So how do we make appreciation a daily habit, a micro habit, not just for birthdays or anniversaries? Practical tips.
Okay, let's make it actionable. First, say it out loud. Don't just think that was nice of them. Verbalize it. Be specific. Instead of just thanks, try, thank you so much for making dinner tonight. I really appreciate not having to think about it.
Specificity matters.
Hugely. Second, appreciate who they are, not just what they do. I'm so grateful to have someone as kind, patient, funny as you in my life. Acknowledge their character.
Nice. Any rituals?
Some couples love rituals, like sharing one thing you appreciated about each other at the end of the day, or keeping a shared gratitude journal, micro habit ideas, send a random thinking of you and appreciate you text. Commit to one specific heartfelt compliment a day. You handled that stressful call really well.
Ooh, I like the compliment idea.
And one really powerful habit, before sleep, specifically tell them why you appreciated something they did or were that day. It ensures contributions don't go unnoticed and ends the day on a positive, connected note.
That's a lovely way to end the day. Okay, building on that theme of validating each other in small ways, let's talk about habit 5. Turning towards, not away. This sounds subtle, but you're saying it's a major differentiator.
It's incredibly powerful, and again, research from folks like Gottman highlights its significance. It's all about how we respond to what he calls bids for connection.
Bids, like an auction.
Haha, sort of, but much smaller. Throughout the day, we make these tiny attempts to connect. An observation, wow, like that sunset. A comment, this coffee is amazing. A question, did you hear about?
Yeah.
Maybe even just a sigh or a chuckle. These are all bids.
Oh, moments reaching out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, happy, connected couples consistently turn towards these bids. They respond positively, openly, maybe not with a long conversation, but with engagement. If someone says, look at the sunset, they look, or at least acknowledge it warmly.
And unhappy couples.
They tend to turn away. They might ignore the bid completely, grunt non-committally, or respond tersely, I'm busy.
But it seems so small. Does ignoring a comment about the sunset really matter that much?
In isolation, no. But cumulatively, massively, think of it like drips of water. One drip is nothing, but over time it can erode rock. Every time you turn towards a bid, even briefly, you send the message, I hear you, you matter, what you notice matters.
It validates them.
Precisely. And it encourages them to make more bids in the future, strengthening the connection. But every time you turn away, the message is, you're not important right now. Your thoughts aren't interesting.
Ouch.
Yeah. Over time, the person who gets turned away from stops making bids. Why bother? They start to feel invisible, insignificant. The shared world shrinks, intimacy erodes, trust fades, all from those tiny, seemingly insignificant moments of turning away instead of turning towards. It's a small invitation to share a moment, and consistently accepting that invitation reinforces the bond profoundly.
Wow. Okay, that puts the little interactions in a whole new light. I see you, and you matter. Which connects nicely to our next habit, building love maps and fostering curiosity. Another Gottman concept, right?
Yes. Love maps. It's about having a really detailed, constantly updated understanding of your partner's inner world.
Like a mental map of them.
Exactly. Knowing their dreams, their fears, their hopes. What stresses them out at work right now? What are they excited about? Who are their friends, their rivals? What were their biggest childhood embarrassments or triumphs? What makes them tick? It's an ongoing exploration. Their inner world is this rich, evolving landscape, and your job is to keep exploring it with genuine interest.
So it's not a one-time thing. You don't just learn about them and you're done.
Definitely not. That's the key. People change. Their dreams evolve. Their worries shift. Their values might deepen. If you stop being curious, if you assume you know everything.
You stop really seeing them.
Exactly. The relationship can stagnate, feel predictable, distant, but feeling truly known, truly seen by someone who is actively interested in the person you are becoming. That's rocket fuel for intimacy and happiness. It keeps the relationship dynamic alive.
So how do we actively build and update these love maps? How do we stay curious day to day?
Great question. Ask open-ended questions. Go beyond, how was your day? Try, what was the most interesting or surprising thing that happened today? Or, what's something you're pondering lately? Or, what are you most looking forward to this month?
Questions that invite more than a one-word answer.
Precisely. And as we keep saying, active listening is crucial here. Really absorb the answers. Another powerful technique. Refer back to past conversations. Hey, how did that presentation you were nervous about go last week? It shows you were listening and that you remember, that you care.
Makes them feel really heard.
Immensely. And remember, it's a two-way street. Share your own inner world, too. Your hopes, fears, daily experiences. Vulnerability invites vulnerability.
Are there more, structured or fun ways to do this?
Sure. You could play a relationship version of 20 questions asking deeper things. Keep a shared journal where you jot down thoughts or things you learned about each other. Practice surprise and delight, remembering a small detail they mentioned weeks ago, like a book they wanted, and surprising them with it.
Shows you pay attention to the details.
Exactly, and try new things together. A class, a trip, even just a new restaurant. New experiences spark new conversations and reveal different sides of each other. And those nightly rituals, high point, low point of the day, they constantly add details to the map. Keep exploring.
Okay, that's a great set of tools. Now let's pivot slightly. Relationships aren't always smooth sailing. We need resilience. So let's talk about navigating challenges, starting with habit 7, healthy conflict resolution.
Yes, crucial. Because conflict will happen. It's inevitable in any meaningful relationship.
The goal isn't zero conflict.
Absolutely not. That's often a sign people aren't being honest or are avoiding important issues. The goal is to handle it respectfully, constructively. Gottman found the happiest couples aren't the ones who never fight. Some fight quite a bit. The difference is how they fight.
Fighting fair.
Exactly. When handled well, conflict can actually be a doorway to deeper understanding, growth, compromise. It can bring you closer. But poor conflict habits, yelling, insults, contempt, stonewalling, the silent treatment.
The destructive stuff.
That stuff inevitably erodes the relationship, builds resentment, creates distance. The research is crystal clear. Couples with good conflict skills are far more satisfied and likely to stay together.
So how do we fight fair? What are the key strategies when disagreements pop up?
Okay, number 1, a crucial mindset shift. Remember, you're on the same team. It's you two against the problem, not you against your partner.
Changes everything.
It really does. Second, stay calm, or at least try to. If emotions get too high, if you feel flooded, take a break. Agree to pause for 20 minutes, an hour, whatever you need to cool down, then come back to it. Don't try to resolve things when you're seeing red.
Okay, take a time out.
Yes. Then bring in those communication skills. Active listening, really try to understand the perspective, even if you disagree. And use I statements, express your feelings and needs without blaming, instead of, you're wrong. Try, I'm feeling misunderstood right now. Can we slow down?
Focus on understanding, not winning.
Exactly. Aim for collaborative solutions. How can we solve this together? What can we both live with? Brainstorm options, compromise. Find a win-win, or at least a solution you can both accept.
What about afterwards?
Crucial. Practice forgiveness for them, for yourself. And apologize sincerely when you've messed up, even just for your part in it. I'm sorry I raised my voice goes a long way, shows maturity. And finally, set ground rules beforehand. Agree on things like no name-calling, no digging up old arguments, no storming out. Creates a safer container for the conflict.
That leads perfectly into the next habit, the power of repair. Because even if you fight fair, sometimes feelings still get hurt, right? Things can feel strained.
Absolutely. No conflict is perfectly clean. There might be lingering hurt, misunderstanding, tension. That's where repair comes in. It's the ability to effectively mend those little or big ruptures that happen. Gottman considers the ability to repair effectively one of the absolute hallmarks of a successful relationship.
So it's about fixing the damage, preventing resentment.
Exactly. It's about consciously reaching out to reconnect after a negative moment, whether it was a full-blown argument or just a sarcastic comment that landed wrong. It stops negativity from escalating and prevents resentment from festering, which is like poison to intimacy. Think of it as patching the small holes before they sink the ship.
How do you actually do repair? What does it look like?
It can take so many forms. The specific action often matters less than the intention behind it. The sincere desire to reconnect and show the relationship matters more than the disagreement.
Okay, examples.
Sure. A simple, heartfelt apology. I'm really sorry I snapped earlier. Using humor, a shared joke to break the tension, if appropriate. A physical gesture, a hug, holding hands, a reassuring touch that says, we're okay. Making a peace offering, like their favorite cup of tea. Even just acknowledging the difficulty. That was a tough conversation, wasn't it? The key is bringing it with love, honesty, maybe a bit of humility. It's an effort to say, I want to fix this with you.
It sounds like handling conflict and repairing effectively requires you to be in a pretty good place yourself.
Yeah.
Which brings us to habit 9, prioritizing self-care.
Yes. You can't pour from an empty cup. Self-care isn't selfish. It's essential maintenance for you, which allows you to show up better in your relationships.
And we're not just talking bubble baths, right?
Haha, definitely not just bubble baths, though those can be nice. It's about holistically taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Consistent action to safeguard and replenish yourself. And it's not selfish because when both partners practice good self-care, the relationship benefits hugely.
How so?
Well, you're better equipped to handle stress individually and together. There's less personal tension spilling over into the relationship. You have more emotional bandwidth, more empathy, more patience. You can offer better support because you're not running on empty. The research clearly links individual self-care with higher relationship satisfaction. Healthy individuals make healthier relationships.
What are the pitfalls, though? How do relationships sometimes make self-care harder?
Good question. One common trap is neglecting your own needs because you're so focused on your partner, kids, work, just putting yourself last constantly. Another is failing to communicate your needs. Your partner isn't a mind reader. You need to ask for time or support.
Resentment can build if you don't.
Exactly. And sometimes people might use self-care as a way to avoid dealing with relationship problems like, I'm just going to my yoga class instead of having a needed conversation. True self-care should replenish you so you can engage better, not escape.
That's a crucial distinction. So how do we integrate healthy self-care that genuinely supports our relationships?
Make it intentional and consistent. Schedule things that recharge you. Exercise, hobbies, nature time, meditation, make them non-negotiable. Weave it into routines, a quiet morning coffee, a relaxing bedtime wind down. And communicate. Talk to your partner. I need an hour to myself tonight to de-stress, or I'm feeling overwhelmed. Can we figure out how I can get some support? Setting boundaries kindly. When you prioritize your well-being, you bring more awareness, empathy, and effective communication to your relationship. It's a win-win.
That focus on awareness is a perfect bridge to our next habit, relational mindfulness, being present in interactions.
Yes, this ties so much together. It's about bringing conscious, present moment awareness to your interactions, noticing your own feelings, thoughts, behaviors, and considering the feelings and experiences of the other person, all without immediate judgment.
So less autopilot, more conscious presence.
Exactly. It shifts you from reacting impulsively based on old patterns or current stress to responding thoughtfully based on what's actually happening in the here and now. It cultivates intimacy and trust because you're showing up authentically. It starts with self-compassion, being kind and understanding towards your own struggles, which then allows you to extend that same compassion to others.
Sounds powerful, but maybe challenging. How do we practice this day to day? What gets in the way?
It definitely takes practice. Okay, practical ways. 1, face difficult feelings mindfully. When jealousy, anger, sadness arise, don't just react or suppress. Notice the feeling. Where is it in your body? What thoughts are attached? The barrier. Lashing out or shutting down. The practice. Pause. Breathe. Observe before responding.
Okay, notice without immediate reaction.
Pew. Speak your truth authentically. Barrier. Fear of conflict. Practice. Communicate your feelings and needs calmly using I statements even when uncomfortable. I feel hurt when is more mindful than silent resentment or passive aggression.
Builds on the I statements.
Absolutely. 3, practice self-compassion first. Barrier. Harsh self-criticism. Practice. Acknowledge your efforts and imperfections kindly. This builds the muscle for extending compassion to others when they mess up.
Be kind to yourself to be kind to others.
4, question taking things personally. Barrier. Assuming everything is about you. Practice. Get curious. Why does this bother me so much? Is this really about me? This diffuses so much unnecessary conflict.
5, take responsibility. Barrier. Blame and justification. Practice. Honestly assess your part in things. Learn. Apologize. Fosters trust.
6, pay attention inwards and outwards. Notice how stress, hunger, environment affect you. Know your values. Helps you act with integrity.
7, suspend judgment. Barrier. Instant assumptions. Practice. Pause before labeling someone's behavior. Consider alternatives. Be curious, not critical. These aren't easy, but they create much healthier, more authentic connections. These principles, mindfulness, kindness, communication, they clearly apply beyond just romantic partners. How do these habits play out with friends? Coworkers.
Great point. They're universal. With friends, honesty delivered kindly is vital. Don't shy away from difficult truths if it helps them. Regularly express appreciation for their friendship. Know how to apologize sincerely, and crucially, accept and even celebrate your differences. Let them broaden your perspective. Active listening when they're struggling, just being there, is often more valuable than advice.
What about at work? Building connection with coworkers.
Small things make a huge difference there. Practice turning towards. Invite someone to lunch or for a coffee break. Remember and follow up on personal details they share. How was your weekend trip? Offer help if someone seems swamped. Stand up for them respectfully in meetings if their idea is dismissed unfairly. Offer a listening ear if they need to vent. These build camaraderie, trust, and a much more positive work environment.
And even for brief encounters. The barista, a new acquaintance, can we apply these principles?
Absolutely. Use open-ended questions beyond "how are you?" Try "what's bringing you joy lately?" or "what's something interesting you've learned recently?" or "what's a passion project you're working on?" Combine it with genuine active listening, even for just a minute. It creates a small spark of real connection, a moment of shared humanity. It's about being present and curious with everyone.
And finally, let's circle back to something simple but powerful. Random acts of kindness.
Yes. Don't underestimate this. It's about those little, unexpected gestures that say, "I was thinking of you." Filling up their gas tank, doing their chore just because, grabbing their favorite coffee, leaving a little note. Research shows happier couples are consistently more generous and kind in these small ways. It's not about keeping score. It's about showing you care, you notice, and you value their well-being. It builds goodwill and a feeling of being cherished.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, let's pull together the main threads. It feels like the big message is that strong relationships are built, not found. It's a process.
Absolutely. It's a journey, not a destination. The key takeaway is that deep, resilient connection comes from the steady accumulation of small, consistent, intentional daily habits.
You've covered so much ground: active listening, I statements, emotional intelligence,
Daily affection and appreciation, turning towards bids, building love maps,
healthy conflict, the power of repair, crucial self-care.
relational mindfulness, extending these to all relationships, random acts of kindness. These aren't just nice ideas, they're practical, research-backed strategies. And every single effort, no matter how small it feels, contributes to that stronger bond.
And a recurring theme was that connection with others really starts with connection itself.
It truly does. Your own well-being, your mental health, how you treat yourself. It directly impacts how you show up for others. Being self-aware, regulated, able to communicate authentically, that's the foundation. Relational mindfulness helps cultivate that inner connection so you have more to offer outwardly. Fill your own cup first.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for everyone listening, thinking about everything we've discussed. If your goal is truly lasting love, deep connection in the relationships that matter most,
Right.
what is one micro habit, one tiny actionable step you could commit to implementing starting today?
Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. What single small action could start shifting the needle? Maybe it's sending that appreciative text right now. Maybe it's deciding to give one specific compliment tonight. Maybe it's committing to 20 minutes of phone down, fully present listening with someone. Or just pausing to notice your own emotions before walking in the door.
What tiny seed will you plant today for a more connected tomorrow?
Think about it. Choose one small thing.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into building habits for stronger relationships. We really hope you feel equipped, maybe a little inspired, to cultivate these practices in your own life.
We hope you can start creating even deeper, more meaningful bonds with the people who truly matter.
Until next time, keep diving deep into what truly enriches your life.